dive into 22, I'm probably not going to teach on it today. It's more of a theology. So first we need to finish chapter 21. Where is Abraham right now in chapter 21? Where is he? Right. He's south of Hebron. In that area. It's called Beersheba. And we haven't mentioned that name because we just see that the name of that place today. We're going to see it pretty soon, but that is the place where Abraham was. Why did he move there? Probably good land. The old house, maybe the land wasn't that good, or it became worse after Sodom. You don't know whether it destroyed the quality of the land or not. But he moved south, and who was the king of that area? Close. The king of that area upset something. Something starting with A. Right. Abimelech.
Oh, yeah.
Abimelech, what did he do? He fell in love with who? Sarah. Abraham's sister, unquote. Yeah, right. Really, it was his wife. But he didn't want trouble. Oh, he must have. And now, Abimelech has paid or given Abraham money to warn him not to touch her. Give her back. So, last week we saw there were problems in the house. Problems that they have. Problems. And really, the problem wasn't with Hagar. Her son, Ishmael, was the one who was making fun and mocking Sarah. And her son, Isaac. During this party, or celebration of the birthday, where Ishmael mocking Sarah, and probably had to do with the baby as well. So Isaac had already been born, and now Ishmael was making fun of them. And Sarah was angry, and she suffered. So they had to go. And Abraham was upset. He didn't want to why? Because this was his son too. He loved Ishmael too. So what did he do? God told him, send him away. Send him away. So he sat them down, said, here's your water. Where are you going to go? I don't care. Just get out. Okay. So they wandered around. So he gave him bread and water. And she said, okay. They're walking along. How old was he? About 13 or 14. And what happened? He ate all the food. The food was gone. And now what's he going to do? Right? Did Hagar pray? Let's see. Here's the bread and the bottle of water. And she carried it on her shoulder. It was bigger than that. And the water was spent in the bottle. They ran out. And then what? What did she do? Once the bottle was empty, what did she do? She walked away and sat down. She didn't want to see him. Why? She said, I don't want to see my son die. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. She wept. Do you think she was best friend? Oh, yeah, she was totally brokenhearted. And she cried. She cried out. No one was here to help her. Have you experienced this before? You go and shout out because there's nobody around to hear you. Shout where nobody can hear you. I've done it. It's a different experience to do that. I don't know. And did she pray? When she was crying, does it say she prayed? Dear Lord, dearly beloved Lord, we thank you and praise you for all the good things you've given us. Is that what she said? What did she say? It doesn't say anything about her words. Her words aren't recorded here, just crying out and weeping. What? The voice of voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said, "What's wrong with you? What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is." What a special relationship Hagar had with God. And Ishmael, he loved Ishmael. And many people don't like Hagar. And I grew up in a church where Hagar and Ishmael were looked down on. Why were they looked down on? Because their descendants would become Muslims. And many churches that I've been in when I was growing up looked down on their family because this is where the Muslims began. And that's, yes, but God loved Hagar. And God loved Ishmael. Why? Why? John chapter 3, verse 16, for God so loved the whole world. Right. But this is special. This is special. How many children have died in the desert because God didn't come down and hear them? Because of Abraham. Abraham is God's chosen one. Whether you like it or not, or don't care about the Muslims, God loves them. Maybe God has a special love for them because of the they inherited from Abraham. But he had made a special effort to take care of Hagar. And she got him a wife. Where was Ishmael's wife? Egypt. Why? Because Hagar herself was in Egypt. Now, chapter 21, verse 25. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water. Now, I missed the slide. Sorry. Let's go back. It came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me here by God, that ye will not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, or with my son's son, but according to the kindness I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me in the land where thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. Go ahead. Okay, we finished that. I feel like something was missing. Where is Abraham at this time? He's in this area. Now, it does that because I have a very electric personality. Anyway, Abraham lived around here. And Abimelech came to him. He knew that God was with Abraham. And he wanted to make sure, if you stay here, I don't want any trouble. I don't want a problem with you. Why did Abimelech feel concerned about this? He felt the fear of God. He already experienced this. Remember, he'd already had turmoil in his house because of Abraham. He said, I want to make sure that this doesn't happen again. That we get along together, and all of our descendants do. Abraham said, sure. But Abraham had one problem. He said, I dig this well. And your men came and took it. Took my well. And Abimelech said, I want not. You have done this. What does that mean? What? What mean?
What?
No, not one. I know not. He said, I have no idea who did this. I have no idea this happened. Neither didst thou tell me. This is the first time I'm hearing this, but today. Oh, if you have a problem, why didn't you tell me before? And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech. And both of them made a covenant. Now, let's talk about this word, covenant. We sign it, agreement. What does it mean? A treaty. Right, I'll take it. Yes, I like that.
12.
A promise. An agreement. Okay. All of those things are right concept. A vow. I'll take that, yes. A truce. Or a commitment. All are good words. All of them are the right concept.
Good.
That's right. Now, was this conditional or unconditional? Which one?
Good.
Of course, it was conditional. Anytime you have a commitment between people, a business agreement, there's always a condition. For example, you go in and buy a car. You sit down and they explain to you what the percentage of interest is, how many years of the loan, and you accept that and sign that paper, and that is a covenant. A promise that I will pay it back. Is it conditional? Yes. If you don't pay it back, what happens? It gets repossessed. They'll take your car. Yeah, the repo man will show up. Maybe you'll be on TV. You'll be famous because they repossessed your car. I don't know. But that is a conditional and the condition is if you pay back, you can keep the car. So we have these two men, one of whom is a ruler, but respectful of Abraham. Abraham is not nothing. He has a lot of wealth, a lot of family, a lot of servants. At least we know of 300 or more. We know of that. So that's a big group. So Abraham gives these cattle, sheep, an agreement. And he places 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. Abimelech said unto Abraham, what mean these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? Abraham said, for these 7 ewe lambs have I taken in my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. Sheep are witnesses? Abraham was a strange guy. These 7 sheep are witnesses to me that I dug this well. I'm going to give you these 7 sheep. When you see those 7 sheep, then you know, you will remember that I dug the well. Not the same as a payment. He's already paid in the cattle and the sheep. And then he's adding these 7 sheep. I don't understand that. He should have just included those in the rest of the group. But he had to say, these are 7, a bonus, 7 bonus sheep. I don't know. That's strange to me, but this is it. And call that place what? Beersheba. Because there they swear, both of them. This name, Beersheba, means well of promise. That's what it means. The well of promise or agreement. And so it was called that. Beersheba, because they made the agreement. And Abimelech accepted it. Question. No. Jacob had a different well. That was a different well. Understand, during the time of Abraham and Abimelech, let me show you on the map. Where's Beersheba? Right here. Remember, during this time, what was a value? Money wasn't really all that valuable. What was the valuable things back then? First of all, livestock, and second, and water. The 3 most valuable things in Abraham's time. So now we're going to see a problem. with the wells pop up from time to time. We see Abraham having problems with the well, Isaac having problems with a well, Jacob struggling with someone over a well. Because wells are valuable to provide people, but also for water for the animals. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, Michal, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. Wait a minute. Philistines? Hold on, let's talk about this. Abraham, we'll hold on to that idea and talk about it later. Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days. Now, why are we talking about Philistines? Are the Philistines the same as the Egyptians? No. They're a different group, but they're important for us to understand. It's important to understand the different groups of that time. So we know Egypt, and what other people do we know in that time? We don't have the name Jews yet. Canaanites. Well, where was this group of people? Generations from, they descended from Ham. And where did the Philistines descend from? Not Egypt. Ham? I don't think so. The future, this is who will live there in the future, but you know who Adam is? We'll talk about that later. Okay? We'll talk about that later. They're an important group in the Bible. The Philistines controlled this area, and some they're along the coast. Now, we're not sure where the Philistines come from. We don't know, but possibly Abimelech himself was a Philistine. It seems like that to me from the way I read this. That's how it seems to me that Abimelech was a Philistine. So now, Abimelech has made an agreement with Abraham. Abraham and the Philistines get along from then on. When did the Bible later, much later, 400 or 500 years later. But for now, they have peace. They keep the agreement. With the Canaanites, Israel in the future would have problems, but for now, there was mostly peace. Remember Abraham did not have, he hadn't really taken over the territory yet.
Perfect picture.
So far, 2 or 3 people.
I'm not
We're getting the right answer. 4 people. Not for wood. For worship. A special place. You go alone and have a quiet time and sit and talk with God. This is important. So far, Abraham has worshiped God. How? With altars. With altars. He built altars. Now this is different. There is an altar there too. Maybe. But Abraham sees the value of time spent talking with God. And now this road in the future would become something that isn't very good. In the future, the kings of Israel and the kings of Judah would plant groves for weapons, for idol worship. But this is not how it starts. It starts with Abraham doing it the right way. Are these the same Philistines as Goliath? Yes, 500 years later. The same group of people, but Goliath showed up 500 years later. Related to her question. I thought these came from, the Philistines came from King Og, who was so tall. Where was King Og from? Which family was he descended from? That I'm not sure of. I could try to research that and see if I can find the answer. I'm interested in that now, to figure out where the Philistines came from. We know the first mention here. Now Moses writes. Moses has the advantage of looking back. As he's writing this, he knows the tradition, the stories. So he has some advantages as he's writing this. He can, 500 years later, he can record this. Now we can add another altar here. Not really an altar, but a place to worship. And we've seen where Abraham moved, wherever he moved, what did he do? He always worshiped God. Always. We see this over and over again. So why did Abraham worship God so much? Because he depended on him. And he trusted him. We'll see that in Romans chapter 4 when I preach pretty soon in the time of the church. Abraham had faith in God. Not based on his works, based on his faith. It's very simple. Now, 7 minutes. I'm going to start chapter 22. One verse, maybe. Abraham. And said unto him, Abraham. And he said, behold, here I am. So why are we talking about this verse? God is making sure. Test. Not my favorite word. See how much Abraham will obey God. God's not finished with Abraham. See how much Abraham loves God? Why do I not like this word? The word tempt. How do we sign tempt? Like this. What does this mean? Now, I'll tell you, I like my church to think. I don't want you to just accept whatever I say. I want you to think. Okay? James chapter 1, verse 13. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. There's a conflict in the Bible. It says right here, God did tempt Abraham, and here it says, neither tempteth he any man. There's a conflict.
Good.
I want you to think about this. Then what? The meaning of the words, okay? First time means tempt, second time means sin.
Good.
Is the word call up here? What does the word say? Tempt. Okay? So what should we do with this? It looks like a conflict here. What should we do? Start gathering the Bible? Or like the Bible? Because it's got a conflict. Confused. Who's confused? Now, that's different. I understand what you're talking about. word mean what? Now, there are different languages. What do you mean, different languages? What language is this written? Hebrew. What language is this written? Greek. So this is not the same word, but it is the same word. Other places in the New Testament, in Hebrews chapter 11, it talks about Abraham. That God tempted Abraham. Same Greek word. You don't really need to know the Greek word, but the concept, I should have brought it with me. I have. So we have a knife here. What is a knife? It cuts. What else? Screw things with. Peel. I'm looking for one more word. That's the idea. The peel or carve. Pear. A paring knife. Very small knife that's good for chopping apples. Paring knife. That word pear. Comes from the same Greek word, horizo, meaning to divide, to split. Now, I'm going to see which side you are on. Are you on the side that falls to the left or to the right? Now, can God do this? He's going to see if you go to the left or the right. Can God do that?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. And the key word here in James chapter 1 is what?
Get back.
Evil. God will test us. God did test Abraham. God did tempt Abraham. There's nothing wrong with the word tempt. The word means to test. Same word. There's no other word for test. It's the same word. Now, we have this added word, evil, and then it becomes a different story. I'll give you an example. JJ, if you and I want to go out to lunch, I'm going to test and see in follow-on, what do you choose? 239. Now, are we around Brian's restaurant here in Kansas City? Anyway, that's not the point. Now we're talking about Arthur Bryant. What's the point? The point is there are two groups. Now, if I ask, is there anything wrong with barbecue? No, there's nothing wrong with barbecue. There's nothing wrong with Arthur Bryant's. It's just a preference. Now, I want to see myself, I'm going to ask him because I want to see if we have the same preference or if it's different. So I'm curious. I want to see if he agrees with me or not. If he agrees with me, then we'll go out to eat barbecue. If he says, Brian, I'm not going to do it. Why? Because I don't like it. Now, he says,
Done.
Brian, the point is, there's a difference in preference. God says to Abraham, which group you involved in? Are you going to do it my way? Or are you going to go your own way? And that's different than trying to draw someone into evil. I'll give you an example. Jacob,
Okay.
you and I are going to go rob. We're going to go rob it. All that barbecue sauce, we're going to grab it and go sell it on the black market. And we'll be famous. Come on, you want to join with me? Now what am I doing? I'm trying to pull him in with me. I'm still testing him. But now I'm testing him for good or evil. For evil. God never tests us to do something evil. Why? God tests us to do something evil. There's no evil in God. So that can't be. He is holy. That's the difference. I drew this out to make it complete.
Done.
Now,
Done.
I have to stop. It's 6 minutes
Oh.
until church, and they're starting to stare at me. So, Father, I thank you for this story about Abraham and his faith. He made this agreement with Abimelech. So that they could live in peace. Help us to do the same. And Lord, I pray that for us, that we will pass your test. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve you and help us to match with you.